Here's a few defenses I'm looking to stash heading into the weekend and before Week 13 waivers. The first defense is the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings this week, they got a mediocre matchup, but I'm more looking forward to next week for this defensive end. And the Vikings, they got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up next week in this bowl game. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they give up the third most fantasy points to defenses. It looks like Mike Lennon, he's going to be the starter unless something happens in tomorrow's game. And the Vikings, they could get to the quarterback, they can make plays, and I think they could have a big game versus Jacksonville next week. So this stash is for more next week in getting the Minnesota Viking defense, and they are available in about 40% of fantasy leagues. The next defense I'm looking to stash is the Vegas Raiders. This week, I'm not going to trust them versus the Atlanta Falcons. It's all about next week, and it's about versus the New York Jets. The Jets give up the most fantasy points to defenses, and the Raiders, they're available in a whopping 92% of fantasy leagues. So there's a team you could go out there, grab now, and if you stream defenses like most people do, you just go pick them up, stash them on the bench if you have an open bench spot with someone who's not going to produce, and you just save them for next week, and then you got your streaming D. So the Raiders, they're the second defense I'm going to stash, and the third and final defense is the Seattle Seahawks. This week I like their matchup versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they can make some plays and have a decent double-digit fantasy point game. But next week is where the matchup's even better, in my opinion, where they versus the New York Giants, whose offense is playing a little bit better. But this Seattle D, I think they come in together, they're getting it going, and they got some big pass rushers on that team now. You got Carlos Dunlap, who saved the ball game last week. You got Wagner at linebacker. Jamal Adams, he's back, and he looks healthy a little. So right here, this Seattle D, with Week 13 and Week 12 here, that defense I could use in both these weeks, and I think they can have a good outlook, and they are available still in 45% of fantasy leagues. So that's a few defenses I'm looking to stash heading into the weekend and beating waivers on Week 13.